Sometimes you need to lay down on the couch and straighten your back out and relax in the dark, in the peace and quiet of 10 p.m. on a Wednesday. No en fuego. Michael Ternan wasn't there tonight. He had some corporate gig, so we didn't go. Decent day overall. Took my dad to the dentist this morning. He had a root canal, so that's fun. Came back to the house, did a bunch of work, and then started the estimate on that 03 titanium silver 90K mile M5. And I talked to the owner for about a half an hour, got a sense of his expectations and priorities and objectives with the car, and then built that out around there. So a healthy 5-figure estimate if he were to choose to do everything I've included in the quote, which I'm sure he will. But I did not include putting it back to factory wheels, doing any body work, any paint restoration, any interior work. Kind of my sublets I didn't include. So there's maybe another $5,000 to $7,000 there, depending on work scope and quality. But sounds like we're going to have the car for a little bit if he's able to work out a deal with his brother and acquire it. Earlier today, Mike came in early, did a bunch of stuff on different cars. I'm losing track of all of this. There's so much going on right now. But we've started the 2003 Jet Black project, and today was kind of disassembly day and preparing it for the parts that are coming. We don't have a whole lot of parts in-house yet, but the exhaust is off, drive shaft is about ready to come out, the diff is out, the subframe's lowered. We're certainly going to be replacing that. He opted to go with the Beast Power parts. Still waiting on brake hoses to replace the soft lines. It's a pretty big job on this car, so we should start to see more parts tomorrow and Friday, and really slam into it next week and make a lot of progress quickly. On the 96 540, the headlights are out. We're going to be putting xenons in there, xenon retrofit and an LCI retrofit, so I'm waiting on some wiring adapters. And he's opted to not do the headlight level sensors and LRA retrofit, just due to that being cost prohibitive, so we're just going to adjust them statically. I am in a moderate amount of back pain right now, so I'm going to get out of here in a few minutes and hit in and out on the way home and just go crash on the couch and then go to sleep. But here are my old taillights out of the 540, and I kind of wanted to replace them anyways eventually, because the right one has a bit of an issue with its connector. It works fine, there's no problem with it, but it is loose and kind of pitched downwards, and I'm sure I could glue that or JB weld or Plasta weld or whatever back on those pins that are supposed to hold it. I don't know how that happens. Like, how do you mess that up? You must have had to whack it and screw that up. But I will show you when I get outside now why we've changed the taillights. So most of you can already guess what the retrofit is. They look the same. They more or less are the same. These have been slightly modified by a wonderful member of the E39 community, and I have yet to replace that piece of trim. I had to glue one of the studs back in. I'm going to let the glue set overnight. But extra switch position, what is that for? Those are the rear fog lights that Euro E39's got that for some reason they did not include for the US cars. So we'll start it up. Works just the same way as before. There's off front fogs. To turn the rear fogs on, it toggles over and then springs back, and you get the extra little notification there on the dash in orange indicating that the rear fogs are on. So you got one wire that runs here from the switch back behind the dash down to the light control module. That's real simple. You don't have to change the connector. You do need to change the switch and the switch bezel. It's a 4-pin connector. 3 of them were populated originally, so I just added that 4th pin in there. Then you need 2 more wires that go from the light control module back down along the chassis where I wired all the PDC stuff, so I got to pull the B-pillar today and follow all the same zip ties and wiring clamps. And then you just pin 1 in each tail light, the empty slots, pin 2 on both sides, and boom. The inner lights are your rear fogs, the outer lights are the brake lights. These tail lights are in better condition. That fog bulb actually is a little bit more white, so maybe I'll go through and replace some of the bulbs. But we're in business. That'll be a great feature to use in bad weather for safety, and more frequently when I cut somebody off and they flash me, I can flash them back now.